Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita, and welcome to I don't know, is this part three, book two, part two? Or is this book two, part two? Whatever. I made a special edition out of book one in two parts for Friday the 13th and the spoof day, Saturday the 14th. And I really enjoyed it, so I started another book. I have four of them in total currently. And I started the first half, and I'm not sure when that'll pop up amongst everything else I've done. But now we're on the second half, and this is where I ended. And I'm going to start with, even though I showed this page, I didn't say anything about it, but these are my absolute favorite things. This is really cool. This was obviously, again, purchased I think I actually purchased this as a whole magazine on eBay. And I did tear it apart, but what's really cool is it's from North Jersey and Rockland County's original, like the hometown magazine. I love stuff that is like clippings from papers and local papers. I grew up in the Bay Area with a magazine called BAM, which was Bay Area Music, which had a lot of musicians in it, and every state has their own kind of thing. They certainly did in the 80s and 90s. Some still do. Portland kind of does. But yeah, getting things like this are especially my favorite. There's always obviously original photos because it's the photographer from the state where the show is taking place or the interview. This is a press photo, but it's still an unusual one, so it's really neat that they used it on the cover. But yeah, it's always neat because, again, it's an unusual photo 9 times out of 10. And it's, of course, their perspective because it was their show in their state. So this one is really kind of special to me. And again, two more photos. Oh, it's kind of cool. So this was a really strange magazine. Not one that you see very often. It came out in 1990. And one I had never acquired as a magazine. This one I only got on eBay finally because it had a lot of damage to it, so I did tear it apart. The magazine was pretty waterlogged, if memory serves, and but the article on Fleetwood Mac, it's nothing like spectacular or anything like that. It's just for my collection and all the items. I mean, that one's kind of cool. That's a different photo, Stevie. But I like having all this stuff, as you have figured out, or I've told you 1,000 times before. So this one was a really nice one to acquire. It's not one you see very often. So it's one of the more lost type interviews because it doesn't come down the pike very often. Onto a different... Oh no, I think... Is that the same? Oh yeah, onto a different article. We're in, obviously, behind the mask era with Rick and Billy, so a lot of articles with them. Sorry for the movement there. This is a really cool thing. I'm not even sure how I acquired this. This was a contract in Germany when Fleetwood Mac performed August 23rd, 1990. This is a copy of a contract. And basically it is kind of part of the writer a little bit. But the coolest part was the breakdown, I think, in the back here of kind of what all the costs were. Sure adds up, doesn't it? And I think this is before paying the band. I mean, this is stadium rent, dressing room, all that kind of stuff. But then this is what they paid the band. Let me see here, get back here. So it's a copy that somebody would have sent, or the band or their management probably would have gotten a copy. Obviously nothing is signed or could have been a draft for all I know. Just something I found. Again, stuff like this, if you've heard me mention, is stuff I would like to scan in at some point, for people to be able to read and just peruse. I have a couple contracts. I have some court documents from the band at different times of their lives, things like that. So, yeah, that one was kind of neat, though. So, yeah. Back to some more general articles. Another press kit item for, I think this is for the Greatest Hits collection. So this is a little out of order then, possibly. And then back to regular full articles. I think it was just because of the placement of stuff why it's out of order. This was a letter. There was a Fleetwood Mac convention, and I think prior to that there was a letter sent out asking what they would like to have in some of the box set coming up or something. I'll have to do, I'm going to be doing a lot of different videos at different times on specific items with full stories, photos that they go with them, things like that. So this is something that I will probably bring up another time, because this deserves a video of its own. A wonderful, I sure wish I'd known about these times and could have been there, but a Fleetwood Mac convention that took place in 1990. And I want to say it was Brian Kane that put the event on. But I'm not sure, so I need to make sure about all that before I talk much about it. This is for the Clinton inauguration press release. There's a photo elsewhere. Great picture of Chris. Sure do miss her. Stuff around this era doesn't seem very prevalent. We'll have it, but it's funny until you get to it in your scrapbooks or your, however you keep your items, you forget that there's just so much media about Fleetwood Mac's involvement with Bill Clinton at the time. And, of course, it was a big deal because, we had already lost, Lindsay had left the band. We had Rick and Billy taking place. Then Stevie and Chris left, and then Chris came back for Time. And then all this was going on. And then, then eventually we got into the dance and so on and so forth. But I have a surprisingly large amount of stuff from this, article-wise, photo-wise. A couple souvenirs, like I have a button and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really cool. There's so much that went on about the inauguration. I'm not pro or against Bill, don't care, but it's all about Stevie and Fleetwood Mac being there, so you can just barely see her there. Trying to get back into focus for you. I think this was from a record magazine, Record Collector. The discography, obviously, from 67 to 95. If you see my record collection, you'll know it's entirely incomplete. Just kidding. It's pretty good. It's pretty thorough. Just a random item I had on Billy. I think he was, yeah, already in Fleetwood Mac. I love Billy. I love Billy and Rick. And so, yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I haven't gone out of my way to find stuff about them, but of course, if I come across anything, I'll keep it. I have gone out of my way to find some photos, but articles and such, I don't have that much stuff. And that's a really great shot of Billy. The infamous. For years, I wanted, before the internet was really, I mean, well, we're already into what, 94, so the internet is prevalent, but I just didn't think this was her. I was on such a hill. Was that Stevie's an impersonator? Is she standing? Is it a hookah? Is it what is it? And just wrestling with that. And then finally, years later, seeing all the La Chapelle pictures he took of her and how glorious and different and amazing they were. They're just, ugh, I would give anything to see more photos from these sessions he had with her. And this I've never found. I mean, I haven't looked really hard, but I would love to. And this was used as part of a press kit. But this is an article with Stevie. That's the only place I've ever seen this photo. And the magazine was called Paper, from 1994. So a really scarce article to come by. I'm grateful to even have the Xerox. And I only have the Xerox because they used it as part of her press kit in 1994. Let me know if you have the magazine. It's pretty cool if you do. So this is all part of the press kit. The Street Angel press kit did not have a folder, and to my knowledge, my recollection, I don't believe it had a 8x10, which normally it does. But this is everything that was included in the press kit that came out for Street Angel in 1994. All these letters. I don't remember there being a photo. And it could be that there was, and I've just put it elsewhere. I don't remember that, though. And normally I remember if I separate things, is kind of my point, so. This is a really cool mailer that went out. It was a double-sided postcard about the coming of Street Angel. I don't know how people got them. I sure as heck wish I'd gotten one myself. Any that I do have are copies. I might have an original, but somebody else's, of course. But no, I don't think I do, actually. That's pretty cool. Another photo session that would be nice to see more of. And those photographs are by Ross Halfin. So I need to look up Ross Halfin and be like, hey man, just kidding. This is a Japanese article. I think it was incomplete. Why? Well, maybe it's fine. I don't remember. This is a somewhat new item I got. Great photo. This should have been the front page. But because there's nothing on the back, I think I put it there so I could put something else on the back of it. Press kit, press release for Time, 1995. Lindsay stuff. kind of getting into the dance a little bit. Hanson. It's funny. This is a really cool thing. Out of place, obviously. I've had this cut out for years. This was a book put out by a impersonator, a Stevie impersonator. Probably many of you are familiar with her. I'll probably talk about it more at length at another time, but right off the bat, if any of you have the book, let me know. This is another thing I've never been able to get a hold of. I was lent a copy and made a copy of the book, and I don't know where that got off to, but it's a pretty interesting read, and I sure wish I'd gotten one of my own. You really never see them pop up, but yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. But gosh, I've had this thing. Look at, it's on the old, nice hair there. Back in the old days when I would put my stuff in these kind of photo albums. Yeah, you didn't know better back then. But yeah, let me know if you have this book. It's kind of a rare bird. So that is book 2 of my articles, and I think I'm going to give it a break before I get on to book 3 and 4. I have so much more stuff to go in between. I need to finish the records, the CDs. Then I have a mixed media video coming out. So whenever you're seeing this, it's going to be kind of a surprise little sprinkled in video. And I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you, as always, for watching my videos. And let me know about any of the articles you've seen. Comment in the comment section. Have a great night. Bye.